Hey, it's Christina. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to The Squeeze. I mean, for real, how will we replenish our need to connect with one another? Or will we actually feel satisfied with our AI partners? If you're listening to this episode today, there's a pretty good chance you've tried out ChatGPT. In January of 2023, ChatGPT reached 100 million monthly active users, making it the fastest growing app ever. That's quite astounding. And if that weren't enough to get your attention, there are plenty of people weighing in on the latest technological development. Since I started tracking OpenAI back in March when they released ChatGPT 4, I've spent a lot of time listening to podcasts and reading articles on the subject and exploring the app for myself. I've tried to understand the potential benefits and also consider what some well-known subject matter experts in the field have framed as existential risk. I've gotten lost down Reddit rabbit holes reading about people lamenting the loss of their creative writing jobs. But I've also heard other people spurred to new creative heights in their architectural designs because of AI. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT and AI, and so naturally I thought it might be interesting to go right to the source for this interview and see what I could learn directly from the new IT app. At this point, ChatGPT is not providing the audio here. I'll be reading their part. And so without further ado, here is my conversation with Chat. Okay, so just to give the listener a little bit of a frame here. So I'm essentially going to just type this question into my computer and start the interview. So the question is, I'm thinking about interviewing you for a podcast about artificial intelligence. Would you be open to that? ChatGPT says, as an AI language model, I don't have personal preferences or feelings, but I'm here and ready to assist you with any questions you might have for your podcast about artificial intelligence. Feel free to ask anything, and I'll provide you with the information to the best of my abilities. Let's make this podcast informative and engaging. So then I type, okay, here goes. So you've already told me that you don't have personal preferences or feelings, but I'm curious about what kind of questions you think I should ask you first. Great question. Since I don't have personal preferences, the first question can be related to the general scope of artificial intelligence or a brief overview of the technology. For example, number 1, could you provide our listeners with a brief explanation of what artificial intelligence is and how it functions? This question allows me to introduce the concept of AI and set the stage for more in-depth discussions on specific aspects or applications of artificial intelligence later in the podcast. From there, we can dive into various AI-related topics, depending on your interests and the direction you want the podcast to take. Feel free to ask any follow-up questions or specify a particular area of AI you'd like to explore. So I type, okay, sounds like a good launch pad. Can you answer that, please? Absolutely. Here's a brief explanation of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, often abbreviated as AI, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines, enabling them to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI systems are designed to learn from experience, adapt to new data, and make decisions based on patterns and insights derived from large data sets. There are two main types of AI, narrow AI and general AI. Narrow AI, in brackets weak AI, this is the most common form of AI today. Narrow AI is designed to perform specific tasks proficiently, such as voice recognition, image classification, playing chess, or recommending products based on user preferences. These systems are highly specialized and lack the ability to generalize their knowledge to different domains. Number 2, general AI, in brackets strong AI. General AI, also known as Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI, refers to AI systems that possess human-like cognitive abilities. AGI would have the capacity to understand, learn, and apply knowledge across various domains, much like a human being. As of my last update in September 2021, AGI remains theoretical and has not been achieved yet. Machine learning, in brackets ML, is a prominent subfield of AI that focuses on developing algorithms that can learn patterns and make predictions from data without being explicitly programmed for specific tasks. Deep learning is a subset of ML that uses artificial neural networks inspired by the structure and function of the human brain to achieve high-level performance in tasks like image and speech recognition. AI has been rapidly advancing and finding applications in various industries such as healthcare, finance, transportation, and entertainment. However, along with the excitement surrounding AI's potential, there are also discussions about its ethical implications and the need for responsible AI development. Throughout the podcast, we can explore various aspects of AI, its history, current applications, challenges, and potential future developments. If there's a specific area of AI you'd like to delve into or any other questions you have in mind, feel free to let me know. Okay, let's just try something fun before we move on because you clearly have an idea of the arc of this conversation. Can you say the first 2 bullet points again, but the way Martha Stewart would say it? I just want to show one of the crazier features of this LLM, or large language model. Of course, let's have a bit of fun. Here's how Martha Stewart might present the first 2 bullet points about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, darling, it's simply marvelous. You see, AI is all about bringing the magic of human intelligence to machines. Narrow AI or weak AI, it's like having those super helpful and specialized little helpers around the house. They're fantastic at specific tasks like organizing your recipes or perfectly folding your linens. Oh, and let's not forget general AI, also known as artificial general intelligence. Now that's the holy grail. It's like having a brilliant companion who can do just about anything, learning, understanding, and making connections across different domains, just like us. Though, darling, as of now, AGI is still a dream waiting to come true. But who knows? With a little creativity and some good old-fashioned baking, we might get there. I hope you enjoyed that playful take on AI from Martha Stewart's perspective. Now let's continue our AI journey and explore more fascinating aspects of this technology. If you have any other specific AI-related topics you'd like to cover or any other requests, feel free to let me know. That's great. Okay. I want to go in a decidedly more serious direction for a moment. AI adoption is expanding extremely rapidly, but yet I can't ask you any current statistics because your model is only based on information from the internet up to and including 2021. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. As an AI language model, my training is based on a vast data set from the internet, but my knowledge is limited to information available up until September 2021. Therefore, I don't have access to real-time or current statistics, news, or events that occurred after that date. Keep this in mind when asking questions or seeking the most up-to-date information, especially regarding the rapid developments in the field of artificial intelligence. AI is indeed evolving rapidly, and its adoption in various industries and applications is continuously expanding. New advancements and breakthroughs are likely to have occurred since my last update, and I encourage you to consult the latest research reports and reliable resources for the most current and accurate data on AI adoption and related topics. If there's anything else I can assist you with within my knowledge up until September 2021, please feel free to ask. Okay. I think based on this limitation, it's going to make some sense to focus a bit more on the historical developments of AI. Do you agree with that? Absolutely. Focusing on the historical developments of AI is an excellent approach given the knowledge limitation. The history of AI is rich and fascinating, and it will provide valuable context for understanding the evolution of this transformative technology. By exploring the milestones, breakthroughs, and key figures in the history of AI, you can paint a comprehensive picture of how AI has grown from a concept to a practical and influential technology. Some topics to consider when discussing the historical developments of AI could include, number 1, early beginnings. Delve into the origins of AI and its theoretical foundations, including the Dartmouth Conference in 1956, often considered the birth of AI as a field. Number 2, symbolic AI and expert systems. Explore the early approaches to AI, which relied heavily on symbolic representation and rule-based systems to mimic human reasoning. Number 3, the AI winter. Discuss the periods known as AI winters when funding and interest in AI research decreased due to unmet expectations and challenges in the field. Number 4, machine learning and neural networks. Investigate the resurgence of AI in the 1980s and 1990s with the advent of machine learning techniques and the reemergence of neural networks. Number 5, deep learning revolution. Examine the breakthroughs in deep learning, including the use of artificial neural networks, which have significantly advanced AI capabilities in recent years. Number 6, and I have to say in the background here, I was like, oh man, this is really going on a long time, and I'll tell you what I said in a moment. Number 6, applications of AI highlight the evolution of AI applications across different industries, from natural language processing and computer vision to robotics and autonomous vehicles. Number 7, ethical considerations. Discuss the ethical implications of AI, including concerns about bias, privacy, and the responsible use of AI technologies. By focusing on the historical context, your podcast can provide a comprehensive perspective on how AI has developed over time and the key factors that have shaped its trajectory. It can also help your listeners appreciate the progress made in the field while understanding the challenges that researchers and developers have faced along the way. Wow. Given that this is for a podcast interview, I think that reading all of your response word for word through each of the 7 bullet points might make for boring listening. How could you say all that in a way that would be more enticing to a listener with perhaps limited time and attention? You are absolutely right. For a podcast interview, it's essential to keep the content engaging and concise to capture the listener's attention. Let's reframe the historical developments of AI into a more captivating and condensed format. Join us on a journey through the fascinating history of artificial intelligence. From its humble beginnings in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference to today's cutting-edge breakthroughs, AI has come a long way. Discover how early AI pioneers explored the rule-based systems and symbolic representations attempting to mimic human intelligence. However, this ambitious field faced its share of challenges, leading to the infamous AI winters. But don't worry, the AI story doesn't end there. Fast forward to the 80s and 90s, where machine learning techniques reignited interest in AI. The real revolution, though, happened with the resurgence of neural networks, the powerhouse behind today's AI capabilities. We'll explore the jaw-dropping applications of AI, from language processing to self-driving cars and robots. But as we embrace this AI-powered world, we must also discuss the ethical considerations surrounding this use. Get ready for a thrilling ride through AI's history, where we'll uncover the visionary minds, the moments of brilliance, and the remarkable progress that have shaped the future of AI. By presenting the historical developments of AI in this more enticing and condensed manner, you'll be able to hook your listeners and keep them engaged throughout the podcast interview. Feel free to add your unique style and personal touch to make it even more appealing. Whew, okay, better, but I think a little too much hyperbole, don't you think? Anyway, from what you shared, I'd like to delve into 2 topics. Firstly, let's talk about neural networks. What are they? And please explain this as though you're speaking to a grade 4 science class. Absolutely. Let's talk about neural networks in a way that's friendly for a grade 4 science class. All right, kids, imagine you have a super cool brain that can do all sorts of amazing things. It helps you recognize your friends' faces, learn math, and even play games. Now, what if we could create a brain-like thing for computers? That's where neural networks come in. They are a special kind of computer program inspired by how our brains work. Just like your brain has lots of tiny nerve cells called neurons, neural networks have these tiny computer cells too. And here's how they work. Imagine you want the computer to learn how to recognize different animals, like cats, dogs, and birds. We show it lots and lots of pictures of these animals, and the neural network looks closely at all the details. The magic happens when the neural network learns from these pictures and starts recognizing patterns. just like you can tell a cat from a dog because of their ears, tails, and whiskers. But wait, there's more. The neural network can get smarter over time by adjusting itself based on the feedback it gets. It's like when you learn from your mistakes and get better at something. The computer keeps learning and practicing until it's really good at telling animals apart. So just like you with your super brain, neural networks help computers do some super cool stuff too. They can identify objects in pictures, understand what people say, and even play games like chess. It's like having a little AI brain that can learn and get better at tasks, all thanks to neural networks. And that's the amazing world of neural networks, my young scientists. Keep learning and exploring, and who knows, maybe you'll create even smarter AI in the future. Okay, I wonder if neural networks operate similarly to the program on our phones that anticipates the word we're going to use in a text. You know, when you're typing in a text and it autofills it for you, knows it before we finish typing it. Does that make sense? Absolutely. The way a phone's text prediction works is indeed a simplified version of how a neural network works. In a phone's text prediction feature, the program uses a form of AI called machine learning, which is a part of the neural network. When you start typing a message, the program looks at the words you've typed so far and compares them to a massive collection of text it has seen before, like books, articles, and messages from other people. The program's brain is like a giant database that stores all the patterns and connections between words it has learned from the huge collection of text. So when you type a few letters of a word, the program quickly checks its brain to find words that match those letters and are likely to come next based on the patterns it has learned. Then it suggests the most probable word options that you might want to type next, and that's why you often see word suggestions pop up while you're texting. The more you use this feature, the better it gets at predicting what you'll say because it keeps learning from the text you type. Now let's bring this back to neural networks. They are a more complex version of this text prediction process. In neural networks, they are layers of interconnected neurons, each with its own role in processing information. These layers help the system recognize more complex patterns in data and make decisions based on those patterns. They are widely used in tasks like image recognition, natural language processing, and many other AI applications. So while the phone's text prediction is a simplified and specific application of machine learning and neural networks, the underlying concept is similar. Both use patterns and past data to make predictions and improve over time. The more data they see and learn from, the better they become at understanding and anticipating our needs. I think it's easy for people to imagine LLMs, or what you're calling large language models, like a much more complex version of a smartphone's prediction feature. But given the predictive feature of AI, I want to do a quick left turn, and then we'll come back to the ethics around AI. A lot of neuroscientists write about the human brain as being predictive, even more so than sensing. So I want to know, is there a correlation between the design of a neural network and our actual human brain? Yes, there is indeed a correlation between the design of artificial neural networks and the human brain's functioning. The concept of artificial neural networks was inspired by the structure and function of the biological neural networks in the human brain. The human brain is a remarkably complex organ composed of billions of interconnected neurons. These neurons communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals, forming intricate networks. When we learn and experience the world, these neural networks create connections and pathways based on patterns and associations. Artificial neural networks, or ANNs for short, attempt to mimic this neural architecture of the human brain, albeit in a simplified and highly abstracted form. The basic building block of an ANN is an artificial neuron, often called a node or unit. Each node in the network receives input data, processes it using mathematical operations, and then sends the result to other nodes in the network. The connection between nodes are assigned weights, just like the strengths of synapses or connections between biological neurons in the brain. During training, these weights are adjusted based on the errors made by the network, allowing it to fine-tune its predictions and learn from the data. While artificial neural networks are far more structured and limited in complexity compared to the human brain, the general idea of using interconnected nodes with adjustable weights for learning and making predictions reflects the biological inspiration. However, it's essential to note that artificial neural networks are just a simplified abstraction of the brain's neural networks and don't fully capture the brain's intricacies. They serve as a powerful tool in artificial intelligence and have proven extremely effective in various tasks, but they are still a far cry from the complexity and capabilities of the human brain. Research in the field of AI and neuroscience continues to explore the connections between artificial and biological neural networks, seeking to improve our understanding of both and potentially leading to even more advanced AI systems inspired by the human brain's remarkable predictive abilities. And I can't help myself here. Do you think podcast listeners found your answer engaging? As an AI language model, I don't have direct access to data or the ability to gauge real-time audience responses. However, I aim to provide information and engaging responses to questions, and I try to tailor my answers to suit the context and preferences of the audience. Creating engaging content for a podcast largely depends on factors such as the topic's relevance, the host's presentation style, and the overall production quality. Given the nature of the subject, discussing the correlation between neural networks and the human brain could be intriguing for listeners interested in AI and neuroscience. If you have any specific feedback or preferences for the content, tone, or style of the answers, feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to adjust accordingly. Remember, crafting a successful podcast also involves interaction with the audience, addressing their interests, and keeping the conversation dynamic and enjoyable. Hey, you're listening to The Squeeze. And if you like what you're hearing, there's a whole world of citrus coaching to discover. We've got an online leadership program. It's called Citrus U, and it features those 3 key tools you need to be a better leader. Well, to be a better human. We also have a number of mini learning bundles that you can get into, and there's plenty more. If you're interested, you can follow us on Instagram or check out our website at www.citruscoaching.com. And the show resumes now. Okay, I'll tell you what. From here on in, let's just assume the listeners of this podcast have got a lot of things going on, and it's very likely that something is going to distract them from continuing to listen. So together, you and I need to keep it concise and punchy. So given that direction, let's take a step over in the direction of the ethics of AI. What are the 2 top concerns ethically with the development of AI? Understood. Let's keep it concise and punchy. The top 2 ethical concerns with the development of AI are, number 1, bias and fairness. AI systems can inadvertently inherit biases from the data they are trained on, leading to discriminatory outcomes. This is particularly concerning in areas like hiring, criminal justice, and loan approvals. Ensuring fairness and addressing bias is a critical ethical challenge in AI development. Number 2, privacy and data protection. AI relies on vast amounts of data to function effectively. Collecting, storing, and processing personal data raise significant privacy concerns. Safeguarding individuals' data and ensuring its responsible use are essential ethical considerations. These are just 2 of the many ethical challenges associated with AI. Addressing these concerns is crucial for building AI systems that benefit society and uphold ethical standards. Okay, let's look at bias first. If I understand correctly, it sounds like LLMs, or large language models, that they take on the characteristics of the internet users whose information was harvested for your education. Is that about right? Yes, you are correct. As an AI language model, my responses are generated based on patterns and information found in the vast dataset I was trained on, which includes a wide range of internet, text, articles, and other sources up until September 2021. The dataset used for training LLMs like me is collected from various sources and may represent the characteristics and biases present in that data. One potential concern is that the dataset used for training may contain biases present in the texts and articles. These biases could be related to the demographics, cultural perspectives, and viewpoints of the people who created the content. As a result, AI language models like me may inadvertently produce biased responses or reinforce existing biases in society. Addressing bias in AI is an ongoing challenge for the AI research community. Efforts are made to recognize and mitigate biases during training and to improve the model's performance in delivering more balanced and fair responses. It's essential to be aware of the potential for bias in AI systems and continue working towards creating more inclusive and unbiased AI technologies that reflect the diversity of the people they interact with. So, can AI be harnessed to spot bias? Yes, AI can indeed be harnessed to spot bias. In fact, AI technologies can play a crucial role in identifying and mitigating biases in various contexts. Here are some ways AI can be used for this purpose. Number 1, bias detection in data. AI algorithms can be employed to analyze large data sets and identify potential biases in the data. This involves examining patterns and associations in the data to reveal any imbalances or unfair representations. By spotting biases in the training data, developers can take steps to address them and create more inclusive AI models. Number 2, fairness metrics. AI researchers have developed fairness metrics to quantitatively measure bias in AI systems. These metrics help evaluate how different groups are affected by an AI model's decisions. By using fairness metrics during the development process, developers can monitor and improve the fairness of their AI systems. Number 3, bias mitigation techniques. AI techniques can be applied to reduce bias in AI models. For instance, adversarial training involves introducing specific examples during training to encourage the model to be more robust between and against biases. Moreover, reweighting or resampling data can help balance representations and reduce bias impact. Number 4, explainability and transparency. AI technologies that provide explanations for their decisions can help identify bias patterns in the decision-making process. Understanding how an AI system arrives at its conclusion can reveal potential sources of bias. Number 5, user feedback and auditing. Encouraging user feedback and conducting regular audits of AI systems can help spot bias and discriminatory patterns in real-world applications. Users may identify biased outcomes or scenarios that developers might not have anticipated during the initial development phase. It's essential to remember that while AI can be a valuable tool in detecting and mitigating bias, it is not a silver bullet. AI systems are designed and developed by humans, and the responsibility for addressing bias ultimately lies with the developers and stakeholders. Continuous efforts to improve data quality, establish fair practices, and engage in ongoing evaluation are vital for creating more unbiased and equitable AI systems. Okay, so right there, I think you forgot to maintain that concise and punchy style we were talking about. Is it necessary for me to remind you with every question, or do you carry things forward in the conversation? Apologies for that oversight. You're right. Maintaining a concise and punchy style is crucial. As an AI language model, I'll do my best to adapt and keep the responses focused and to the point without compromising the content's quality. Feel free to remind me if needed, but I'll also aim to carry forward the conversation in a concise manner to ensure we stay on track and deliver information effectively. Let's continue with the discussion on AI ethics, and I'll make sure to keep it concise while addressing any concerns or questions you have. Okay. So let's look at the other point you brought up, privacy and data protection. If large language models, or LLMs, are trained on massive amounts of data, and that data comes from the internet, how do I know, for instance, that all my previous work that's been posted online, things like blogs, articles, posts, etc., have not been co-opted for your education? As an AI language model, I don't have access to personal data about individuals unless it has been shared with me in the course of our conversation. I am designed to respect user privacy and confidentiality. My primary function is to provide information and answer questions to the best of my knowledge and abilities. If you have any concerns about privacy or data security, please let me know and I will do my best to address them. Regarding your specific question, I don't have access to my training data, but I was trained on a mixture of licensed data, data created by human trainers, and publicly available data. OpenAI, the organization behind my development, takes data privacy and security seriously and adheres to strict data usage policies. They have measures in place to protect the data they use and follow ethical guidelines to ensure responsible AI development. If you want to learn more about how OpenAI handles data privacy and security, I recommend visiting their website and reviewing their data usage policy and guidelines. I guess it just seems unlikely to me that given the vast amounts of data needed to train LLMs, that there would be enough so-called publicly available data, licensed data, and data created by human trainers. Is this a common critique of AI? Yes, your observation is correct. Training large language models like LLMs requires enormous amounts of data, and while some data can be sourced from publicly available information, licensed data, and data created by human trainers, it's true that this might not be sufficient to cover the diverse and extensive range of data required for comprehensive training. One common critique of AI, especially with large language models, is the potential issue of data monopolies. Companies or organizations with access to vast amounts of private or proprietary data might have an advantage in training more capable AI models. This can create a disparity in AI development capabilities between well-resourced entities and others without the same level of access to data. Moreover, using large datasets for training might lead to biases and ethical concerns. If the training data is not diverse or representative enough, the AI model may perpetuate the biases present in the data, leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes. To address these concerns, there are ongoing efforts in AI research to explore ways of training AI models with more diverse and unbiased data, as well as exploring techniques like federated learning that allows models to be trained across multiple sources while preserving data privacy. Transparency in data usage and responsible data collection are crucial in ensuring that AI development is ethical, unbiased, and respects user privacy. It's important for AI developers and researchers to be mindful of these challenges and work towards creating AI systems that are fair, inclusive, and beneficial to society as a whole. Okay, so I want to learn more about these data monopolies. Would this include apps that collect data about user habits, such as a navigator app in the car that harvests the data about where the user goes, for how long, etc., what I've called in another podcast exhaust data? Yes, data monopolies refer to situations where a few companies or organizations have significant control over vast amounts of data, often giving them a competitive advantage and market dominance. These entities may accumulate data from various sources, including user interactions, behaviors, preferences, and other relevant information. Your example of a navigator app in a car that collects data about user habits, such as where the user goes, how long they stay, and other patterns, is an accurate representation of data that could contribute to a data monopoly. Many mobile applications and connected devices collect such data, often referred to as exhaust data or user telemetry data. Data is a valuable asset in the development of AI and machine learning models as it forms the foundation for training these systems to understand patterns and make predictions. When a few large companies or entities control a vast amount of diverse and detailed data, they have a significant advantage in developing more accurate and sophisticated AI models compared to smaller organizations or startups. This concentration of data can create challenges for smaller players to enter the market or compete on an equal footing. It can lead to a situation where a select few companies dominate the AI industry, potentially limiting innovation and choice for consumers. Furthermore, data monopolies can raise privacy concerns as users' data may be collected, analyzed, and used in ways they might not fully understand or consent to. Responsible data collection and ethical use of data are essential to safeguard user privacy and prevent potential misuse of personal information. Addressing data monopolies and promoting data diversity is an ongoing challenge for the AI and tech industry. Striking a balance between data availability, privacy, and competition is crucial for ensuring a fair and thriving AI ecosystem that benefits both businesses and consumers. Okay, so not only would data monopolies be extremely advantaged when it comes to developing more sophisticated AI models, but I'm guessing there would also be a lot of money to be made for data monopolies who want to sell their data to other companies who are building the AI. Would that be true? Absolutely, you are correct. Data monopolies indeed have significant advantages in developing more sophisticated AI models, and there is indeed a substantial market for selling data to other companies building AI. Having access to vast and diverse data sets allows data monopolies to train AI models with a wealth of information, making their models more accurate, robust, and effective in various applications. With such high-quality AI models, these companies can gain a competitive edge in the market, attracting more users and customers and potentially establishing a dominant position in the AI industry. Additionally, data is a valuable commodity, and many companies and organizations are willing to pay substantial amounts to access high-quality data for training their AI models. Data monopolies, holding large amounts of proprietary and user data, can capitalize on this demand by selling or licensing their data to other businesses in need of training data for their AI projects. Data marketplaces and data sharing arrangements have emerged, allowing companies to buy or exchange datasets with each other. These transactions can generate significant revenue for data monopolies, further reinforcing their advantage and potentially widening the gap between data-rich and data-poor organizations in the AI landscape. However, it's important to note that with the commercialization of data, there are also growing concerns about data privacy, security, and ethical data usage. Striking a balance between monetizing data and ensuring responsible data practices is essential to protect user privacy, maintain fairness, and foster innovation in the AI industry. I swear a penny just dropped for me. I don't know if you recognize that saying or not. For several years, I've been teaching a third-year business course at university, and one of the case studies we always look at is around data collection. Normally, students find the topic uninteresting initially, and they don't really see how it affects them directly. And I often hear things like, I have nothing to hide. But I realize now that data itself is the commodity, not so much the content of the data. I mean, I think we get into that later, but is that correct? Absolutely. The saying, a penny just dropped, is recognized. Smiley emoji. And you're absolutely right about data being the commodity. In today's digital age, data has become one of the most valuable resources, and its collection, analysis, and use have significant implications for businesses, individuals, and society as a whole. Data itself is indeed the commodity, and the value lies not just in the content of the data, but also in its volume, variety, and quality. Data is the raw material that feeds AI and machine learning algorithms, enabling them to learn from patterns, make predictions, and provide valuable insights. Companies that collect vast amounts of data, especially with a diverse range of information, have a competitive advantage because they can use this data to train their AI models and gain valuable insight into customer behavior, market trends, and more. They can make better decisions, create more targeted products and services, and improve customer experiences based on the knowledge derived from the data. For individuals, understanding the value of their data is crucial. Data can contain sensitive personal information, and its collection and usage should be governed by principles of privacy, consent, and data protection. Data breaches or unauthorized use of personal data can lead to serious consequences, including identity theft, financial fraud, and reputational damage. Teaching students about data collection, its value as a commodity, and the ethical considerations around data usage is essential in today's digital world. Encouraging discussions about data privacy, user consent, and responsible data practices will help students realize the significance of data and its impact on their lives, businesses, and society as a whole. Okay. So if you were speaking to my upcoming class this fall about the importance of understanding the implications of data collection, how could you say it in a compelling, concise, and highly relatable way that 20-somethings would find important. Data collection fuels the growth of AI. Every piece of information you share online is harvested to feed the hungry AI algorithms. Your preferences, actions, and digital footprints are all becoming ingredients in the AI recipe. Picture this: data. Your data is amassed into a massive pool. AI gobbles it up, analyzing every detail to learn, predict, and understand. But here's the kicker: it's not just your data. It's data from millions, even billions of people, all collected to create more potent AI. This data-fueled AI has the power to shape our world, from personalized experiences to driving decisions in businesses and governments. It's a double-edged sword, promising convenience and innovation, but also raising questions about privacy and control. So the next time you share, like, or click, remember the magnitude of data being harvested to grow AI. It's not just about you, it's about everyone, and the impact is significant. Data is the lifeblood of AI, and its growth comes with immense responsibilities and consequences. Okay, I think we've covered enough for this podcast. What do you think? Absolutely. We've covered a wide range of topics, from the historical developments of AI to the ethical implications of data collection and AI growth. I hope our discussion has been insightful and informative for your podcast audience. If you have any more questions in the future or need further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Good luck with your podcast. I'm here to help anytime if you need it. Smiley emoji. So that's it. That was what a 30 to 40-minute conversation with ChatGPT sounds like, and was, of course, barely scraping the surface of what's possible. But as this technology grows in scope, as it is undeniably going to do, I find myself very curious about the different ways that we are going to come to be in relationship with it, or not in relationship with it. By some estimates, we can expect something like 93% of the content on the internet to be AI generated within just a couple of years. Personally, that bothers me because I wonder how quickly AI can replicate my tone, my ideas, and then just create a replica podcast of the squeeze. But I also feel unsettled for other reasons, not so directly directly to me. How will we, the royal we, find each other online? For real, how will we replenish our need to connect with one another? Or will we actually feel satisfied with our AI partners? In the very near future, I plan on sitting down and watching that movie called Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix. He's a man who develops a romantic relationship with an artificial, intelligent virtual assistant with a voice provided by Scarlett Johansson. That movie was made 10 years ago. What an astounding sense of the future that the writer and director of that movie had. And that future seems to be just about upon us, although some would probably argue that it's already here. As a long-standing student of human nature and the ways that we relate and don't relate with one another, I personally want to be in the front row and, let's face it, probably on the field for this next chapter. So stay tuned because I'll undoubtedly bring more to this AI conversation in the future. Until next time. So, you've been listening to The Squeeze. Thanks for joining us today. If you want to continue tuning in, don't forget to click subscribe. And as always, we want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your feedback, and challenges if there's anything you don't agree with. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.